Country roads, take me home, or at least to Sandbach. We're heading southbound on the M6 to Sandbach Services.
It's early morning and you wanna go. Take on the world and get to nowhere. Walk the path and explore the beach. Looking far away that you can reach out. Stop digging a hole for your...
Driving up here, the road signs are really quite clear, starting from a mile away and then half a mile away, and they advertise the services that there are. This is a road chef service centre, so you have McDonald's, Costa, BP shop and grid serve chargers advertised. The road in is really quite short and quite a sharp bend. I think that's designed to slow you down. Immediately on your right, you can see the Costa drive-through. There's a sign giving you prices for parking. Again, 2 hours totally free. After that, it's £13 for the day. But the first thing you notice when you drive in here is the massive LCD or LED display. When we were arriving on a very dull and misty morning, this shone out like a beacon. It's really bright advertising the services. There seems to be ample parking, certainly at this time when we arrive, so we decided to park the car to go and have a look what was there. While we were looking for a parking space, we suddenly found the grid serve and the customary 2 chargers, probably 50 kilowatt, one with double CCS2, one with CCS2 and CHAdeMO. But immediately became apparent that right alongside them is a brand new installation going in, not yet live. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But these 2 grid serve chargers, they're what you find on every single motorway services before they finally get replaced. They are just so out of date for today's EVs. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. These 2 older chargers could well remain as a backup or an extra overflow, or they might be replaced altogether in favour of the new ones. We'll go and have a look at those new ones in a moment. But the old units, not much to say for them, fairly standard. We've all come across them on motorway services. It's fairly tight here with the parking, so reversing into the bays, it's not the easiest. But once you're in, the bays themselves are really quite wide, and one of them is designated as a disabled bay. Reversing in, fairly straightforward. It is noticeable there are no bump stops in the road, so technically you can back right up and crash into them if you're not careful. I personally think bump stops should become compulsory on all chargers, whether you go in forwards or backwards. It's just really comforting to know that if you don't judge it quite right, you're not going to do either your car or the charger any damage. Well, not much else to say about the older grid serve units here. 50, 60 kilowatt, about sums it up. So having parked, let's go and have a look what's going on with the new grid serve installation. Well, it's quite exciting because we were lucky to find someone to talk to, one of the workers, and he gave us a bit of information. Well, first, a bit of information was there's a mirror image of this over on the northbound side. So here, there are a total of 6 350 kilowatt chargers going in, and they'll be exactly the same on the northbound side, the other side of the motorway. As you can see, the site is still a building site, but the chargers themselves and the power boxes and the connections and the communications, well, they're all installed. I think they're just waiting for the final connection, and that will probably not be made until they've finished the groundworks. Obviously, this one is going to be tarmacked over, tidied up, and the access will be a little bit better than for the existing chargers, because these appear to be set back just a little bit more than the old chargers. So reversing in, still not the easiest, but again, not going to be the hardest or most difficult either. We've yet to see whether they fit bump stops. We're told these are heading towards completion, could be finished any day or within a week or so from our visit. So at the time of this video launching, they're probably likely to be fully working. It's really good to see these chargers are the 350 kilowatt chargers, and from what I'm told from the installers, each of them will be getting the full 350 kilowatts. There are very few cars available that can take that amount of power. EVs like the Porsche Taycan, Hyundai, Kia. But for the rest of us, most of us, we're pretty much tapped out at 250 kilowatts, and the average car is down at about 150 kilowatts. By the way, my Model S, it's an older model, and that one's the maximum rate is 150 kilowatts. So to me, it makes no difference whether you use a 150, a 250 or a 350. I get the same 150 maximum. There are no other chargers here, no Tesla chargers. So having filmed these, we decided to head off towards the services. Well, first impression, it's an older building, but they've actually made an effort to try and brighten it up. And it has been changed. And it's looking just half decent. It is an older building, there's no getting away from that. But it is apparent that they've gone to some effort to try and bring it up to date. Well, there's not much else to say, really. It's average, it's an older building, it's been reasonably well looked after, has been tidied up a bit, modernised. Massive screen that really dominates the whole charger in services. We got there with just 2 grid-serve chargers, so at present it's a disgrace. However, by the time this comes out, 6 brand new grid-serve 350 kilowatt chargers are likely to be live. And that is exactly what this place needs. Well, as we leave, you see it's fairly tight getting in and out, and you do have to drive straight across the front of the services with a zebra crossing for pedestrians. So this is not going to be a very good location during the peak of the summer season. Coming out, you don't drive straight past the petrol station. It is just off to your side, petrol and diesel, and the lorry HGV filling stations. It's then a relatively short drive down fairly clear and open, and very quickly you're back onto the motorway. So to sum up, overall impressions, barely adequate. As a services, it's okay, it's getting better. As an EV charging station, once the 6 350 kilowatt chargers open that don't share power, it's actually going to be quite good for charging. It means most people will be able to get full speed charging, and therefore the charging times will be reduced, and so the throughput will be increased at busy times. Well, that's the end of this one. I think probably, okay, let's move on. Where do you want me? Forward, back? Yep. Hi, I'm Dave.